We're beginning an exercise in which you've decided to take time to take care of yourself, to offer yourself kindness and compassion, to build an experience of compassion for yourself as a resource that you can come back to at any time. At the beginning of this exercise, it's important to bring yourself to a place where you're able to sit comfortably, a place that's quiet, and a place where you're not going to be interrupted. We'd like to begin by bringing your attention to your breathing, just noticing your breath coming in and going out, and coming in and going out. Just paying attention to your breathing without judging it, without trying to achieve anything, just allowing yourself to breathe naturally and comfortably. It may also be helpful to have a kind of a half a smile on your face, one that just sits peacefully without trying to achieve anything in particular, but just sitting comfortably, holding that half smile. At different times throughout this exercise, you'll notice that your mind drifts away, wanders off into different directions. When that happens, importantly, bringing your mind back to the focus of your attention, without judging yourself, without having any sort of criticism, without chasing thoughts around, but just recognizing that your mind has drifted away and bring it back to what you prefer to focus on. So within this exercise, taking a few minutes to begin by just breathing, noticing your breath coming in and noticing your breath going out. And every in-breath is followed in its own time by an out-breath. And that out-breath, in turn, then becomes an in-breath. So just noticing your breath going in and out of your body, without trying to hurry it, without trying to quiet it or calm it, but just paying attention to how it breathes itself. So within this quiet, comfortable, uninterrupted space, we're going to begin to work on an image that we've talked about before. An image of compassion that holds full compassion for you and brings love and compassion to you. And not only compassion, but a deep, deep sense of kindness. And what we've talked about in the past is a woman. And I think it would be helpful at this point to begin to develop an image in your own mind of what this woman would look like. So we've talked about her being a plump woman, big-bosomed woman. She's wearing white, like a nurse, with white hair. So bringing this image to your mind and developing it as much as you wish to. So thinking, what else would she look like? Would she be in a particular place? Would she be surrounded with anything? Bringing everything that you can to really developing a very, very clear image of this very compassionate woman who brings such kindness to you. And staying with this image, this sense of this woman in her white hair and white clothes, kind of like a nurse, compassionate and kind towards you. Imagining where you would be in relation to her. You might think about how big you would be in relation to her. Would she be much bigger? Would you be like a child? Would you be in her lap? Would she be resting on her ample bosom? Would she be holding you? If you can develop that picture of what it would look like from the position that you're in relation to her. Would you be looking up at her? Just trying to see what you would see if you were there with her. And as you're developing this sense of what it would be like with her, perhaps bringing in some other sensory qualities. Start thinking maybe what smells might be around. I think you mentioned before that she might smell of baby powder or your nanny's perfume. So thinking, what would this whole environment be scented with? And perhaps it may be that there's aspects of the environment that you've placed yourself in that you can also smell. There's the smell of the compassionate woman. There might also be smells from the place around where you are. Just bringing all those sensory details to life. And now that you have a sense that you're building up of what things look like and the scents that are around, perhaps beginning to think about what you might be hearing, what she might say to you, and what her voice would sound like. You thought it might be a soft voice. She might have a kind voice. Perhaps a voice that sounds like a voice that belonged to somebody else that you remember. So I'll be quiet for a moment and give you the opportunity just to think about that space, that image, and those sounds. And within that, perhaps imagining what kinds of things she might say to you. What supportive, compassionate, and caring things that she would bring to you with that kindness that she carries. So while you think about these aspects of the experience of being with this very kind, compassionate woman, bearing in mind that she's very interested in you. She holds your very best interests at heart. She cares very deeply for you. She wants you to be well and wants you to be happy. So recognizing that this woman holds your best interests at heart, that to her you're valuable, that you're important, that you're somebody that needs to be looked after and cared for. And now bringing all of these aspects of this image together. So thinking about how she looks, how she sounds, any scents that there are around her, anything else in the environment that you might see or smell or hear, things that she would say to you, the way that she could let you know that she really cares for you. And as you do this, beginning to bring an awareness of how that feels in your body, and thinking about the sensations of being in that close, comforting contact with this woman. Perhaps there's a feeling of warmth. Perhaps there's a feeling of softness. Perhaps there are other feelings that you experience during this exercise. So spending a few minutes just to have that broad sense of what this experience is for you, what it sounds like, what it looks like, what it feels like, both from the outside and from the inside. What does this bring up in you? What feelings do you have? Being comforted, being cared for, receiving this extensive compassion and kindness. So spend a few minutes just really being aware of those things, really relishing those experiences and that sense of kindness and caring. So now bringing your awareness to where you sit in this room, feeling comforted, feeling that rich sense of compassion, noticing all the sensations in your body, and coming back to the sense of yourself breathing, and noticing your breathing coming in and going out again. And becoming aware that you have made a decision to allow yourself this experience of compassion. You've made time to care for yourself and bring this experience of care and compassion into your life. And this is something that you can come back to at any time. You can listen again. And as you develop this sense of being immersed in this really deep sense of caring, it's something that you can just connect back to as you need it. As you can breathe in and breathe out again. This is always there for you. So you can bring in the sense of feeling loved, feeling kindness for yourself, feeling compassion for yourself. And these are things that belong to you. They're not things that disappear. They're things that remain and that you can continue to build and continue to establish in your life. And so as you end this exercise, just recognizing your breathing, your sensations, and the room around you, and coming back to the world as it is, knowing that you can carry this into your everyday life, day in and day out, as you go forward.